Well, hello all. Beautiful day today. Absolutely blue skies. Off and on rain now and then, but I don't see any clouds anywhere. I was going to do a time lapse, but too nice. Started out 38 this morning. It's almost time to get rid of the jacket now. So, what are we going to talk about today? So I've been hearing people talking about these new and old Democrats. They call themselves left, and then they vote with the orange man some of the times. That's not someone from the left. That's somebody who's bending over to the right. And you know the reason why? Is because they themselves are on the right. Let's just do a politician here in the U.S. A senator, Democrat, who's just announced she's going to run for president, Elizabeth Warren. She was talking about how we have to get rid of the wealth gap. Elizabeth, dear, have you noticed your own net worth lately? I have said that there's no difference between the Democrats and Republicans. It's just the Democrats hide it more than the Republicans. But the agenda is the same, right? Wealth at any cost. She used to be a Republican back in the 90s. In 96, she went over to the Democratic side. So that just tells you, they're interchangeable. Elizabeth, your net worth is around $11 million. Also, you have a $1.9 million house. You are part of the establishment. You're trying to pull the wool over people's eyes, telling them that you're left, when really you're not. Warren, dear, you vote 13.1% of the time with the orange man. That's not left. That's not even middle. That's far extreme right. That means you actually agree with his agenda. White power, whites only, males own all the property, and the females do what the males tell you to do. And anybody who isn't white-skinned, out. So that means that Warren agrees with all that. So let's take the Afghanistan war that the U.S. has been in for so long. She voted to escalate it, to hike troops in Afghanistan, approving Mad Dog Mattis for the Orange Man's Secretary of Defense, or Secretary of War. Let's just tell it like it is. And let's not forget that both Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren glorified Bush on his death. They talked about how great he was. Dear, did you forget that Bush 1, the one that died, that they glorified, dropped 88,500 tons of bombs on Iraq when they had no weapons of mass destruction. There wasn't a single incubator found with a baby sitting in it outside, thrown away. And all the bullshit lies that were told about Afghanistan. Bush killed thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people for absolutely nothing that they did wrong. But here in the U.S., it's all about brainwashing, whitewashing, bullshit, and lies. The truth is frowned upon and thrown away. And when the Clintons were destroying the Glass-Steagall Act, Warren went right along with it. That's not left. That's far right. And what does Warren think about this new merger with these two gigantic banks, SunTrust and BB&T? I've never heard of either one of them, but apparently they're huge banks. They're going to merge. Where are the Democrats on it? I bet they'll vote right along with it. That's another right-wing vote. People keep calling these people left. They're not even close to the left. By the way, after this huge merger, this bank won't have to worry about liquidity requirement. It's too big to fail. The people will bail out this bank when it fails, just like they always do. So, as I was saying, brainwashing here in the U.S. is at full throttle. The right-wingers are spewing a whole list of right-wingers for the Democratic running of the Republican Party. In other words, every one of the people that are running for president, especially Biden, are Republican right-wingers, just disguised as Democrats. And the people don't pay attention, so they vote for these people over and over and over. Who's the real progressive? Not a single one has come up for the race that I've seen yet. We're waiting. It's still early yet. But I can guarantee you that these brainwashed sheeple will continue to vote DNR, even though that's right-wing. Isn't it time that we educate ourselves about which politicians are what? All you have to do is enter a search engine and put in the name of the person you're interested in and put in voting record. So Elizabeth Warren's voting record, or that kind of thing. And you'll find that every one of these so-called lefties vote for escalation of war. They vote to continue to fund it. And the people don't pay attention to that. It's just easier not to pay attention, isn't it? If you actually had to find out who you were voting for, you probably wouldn't vote at all. And that's fine, because those people don't need to vote. They wouldn't help in either direction and would just become a hindrance. But it is their right here in the U.S. to vote still, though the rights of the minorities are being taken away, especially in the southern states and the central states. The left? What left? Pink Barrio and a few others. But the true left has been dead since the 60s. There's been some spatterings of left during the Bush War in Iraq that we now praise them so far for, of killing millions and getting the U.S. in quagmires like Afghanistan, Iraq, and so many other countries. Now we're going to get quagmired into Venezuela, killing those people. But again, sort of brown-skinned, but they're not from the U.S., so killing's okay. Right? Wrong. Killing is not part of the left, and those on the left know that. So that's all I'm going to talk about, is the voting, and how you vote, and how you have to look and see what these people are that you're voting for, instead of just saying, well, Jim's voting for it, so I'll vote for it. That's ridiculous. Do research on the candidates that you want to vote for. Easy enough. So, since I can't comment on my comment section yet, until YouTube fixes things, I guess I'll just comment here on the video. I was asked what kind of trees are those in the background. Well, most everywhere here in California, they're eucalyptus trees, because anywhere in the urban areas, that's what was planted about 100 years ago, in the late 1800s. Here in San Francisco, they planted eucalyptus all over the city. Kids in school did it to beautify the city, it was called. Crazy camera, I think's dying on me. Takes a picture when I push record now. Crazy thing. Alright, so this is the end of the video because it's getting cold, windy, and hard to find a spot to do a video. But I do appreciate all those lovely comments you guys leave. And if you want to discuss politics or anything else, you can go ahead and have at it. I certainly do appreciate you coming by. and the ups and the downs and the new subscribers. And until next time,